degrees Celsius at the source and 37 degrees Celsius at the confluence. In 1952, Southern Baptist missionary Reverend John S. McGee, from his mission base in the nearby Ekiti town of Igede, went to the source of the hot and cold springs about which he had heard from the Kogosi people. Initially, he was discouraged from doing this, and the reasons given were based on the tradition of the local residents, which was that nobody should ever visit the source of these two streams because of the idea that to do so would be to invite death from the supernatural forces that were responsible for this strange and most unusual feature of nature. In spite of the warnings, Reverend McGee made his way through the forest, up the hill to the source of the two side-by-side springs. According to Reverend McGee's brief written account, he is quoted as saying, "After seeing it, I felt that it could be used for a good purpose. I discussed with the people. I discussed the possible use of it with some of the Mission and Nigerian Baptist Convention friends. With the growing interest of Royal Ambassador work and youth work, we felt that it could best be used by building a youth camp. I took it up with the Ekiti Association and we decided to build a camp for our residential areas and government areas. The land was secured through the convention." End quote. Having had the water from both springs tested to ensure its purity, Reverend McGee, with support from the Ekiti Baptist Association of Churches and the Nigerian Baptist Convention, who secured 28 acres of land, which was planning for the building of the camp. By the early to middle 1970s, the Nigerian government took control of the swimming pool and built some guest chalet adjacent to it, with a separate entrance road from that which the McGees had built to the camp entrance. From that time forward, there was also the hope and intention of developing that area for tourist purposes.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations, but who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
In a world where power shifts its every headlines, News breaks and events happens. We bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
Extraordinary. Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
The Ariaria International Market is an open-air market located in Aba, a city in Abia State in southwest Nigeria. The market is one of the largest markets in West Africa and nicknamed China of Africa because of its versatility in the making of wares and leatherworks. Ariaria International Market was established in 1976 following a fire outbreak that destroyed the old Ekeoha market in Aba. The market was originally sited in a swampy area. The market is known for its shoemaking and leatherworks, thus making it one of the largest leather shoemaking markets in West Africa, with an estimated 2 million traders. For more than 2 decades, the market has serviced clients home and abroad. Manufacturers in the market boast that their clientele base extends beyond the shores of Africa. The market cuts across 3 local government areas: the Aba North, Aba South, and Osisioma. Ariaria International Market, with an annual turnover of over $3 billion, as recorded in 2018, is a reseller's market where you can buy wholesale, cheaply, and even have your desired products designed and produced to your own exact specifications. There are a variety of businesses across the market, which includes sales of fabrics, shoemaking and sales, pharmaceutical supplies, hair salon materials, salons, general household goods, and so many others. The Ariaria market has a total of 37,000 shops.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
In a world where power shapes with every headline,
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice. VOP
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Novisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyo Sarati is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV, live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Voice of the people. You can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Suibifa Dokubo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is
Welcome, guys. The show is Hashtags right here on VOP TV. This is where we get to tell you all things trending and all things topical. Apologies for coming on board a little bit behind schedule. It was due to technicalities. But hey, we are good to go. My name is Vivian Oguche, and I'm not flying solo. I got Icpc here. Hi.
Good evening. I'm Icpc Ago. And for those of you watching across social media, particularly on YouTube, we'd like you to subscribe to our YouTube platform. And of course, leave us a message because we also love to see what you've got to say about the conversation we'll be having today. Let's get the show on the road.
All right. So our very first hashtag for today is Dangote. So you know how we broke the story? One of the channels that broke the story that Dangote was taking Ahmed Farouk, or Farouk Ahmed, to court over gross misconduct and the fact that as a civil servant, he was living above his means. Well, shortly after that episode, Ahmed Farouk, tendered his resignation, but something happened. Just yesterday, Dangote decided to withdraw the case from Icpc, and today he's asking the Efcc to take over investigation of this case that he withdrew from the Icpc. So why did he do that? According to Vanguard, he did this in order to speed up proceedings. Yeah, but first, let's take a look at how the cable is breaking this particular news, and then we'll take a look at how Vanguard is spinning the tail as well. Hashtag Dangote. So credit goes to the cable for this one. It says, Aliko Dangote, chairman of Dangote Group, has asked the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to investigate Farouk Ahmed. Dangote had accused the ex-CEO of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, of abuse of office, corrupt enrichment, and living beyond legitimate means. In December 2025, Dangote submitted a petition against Ahmed to the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, Icpc, through his lawyer, alleging corruption and financial impropriety, I beg your pardon. It goes on to say, on December 17, Ahmed tendered his resignation after a meeting with President Tinubu. There's a continuation of this. Let's take a look at it. Yeah. So, on January 7, Dangote withdrew his petition against Ahmed from the Icpc. In the fresh petition, Dangote urged Ola Olukoyede, chairman of the EFCC, to probe Ahmed for financial misconduct, violation of the Code of Conduct for Public Officers, and related offenses. Now, let's take a look at that one by the Vanguard now. Yeah, so credit goes to the Vanguard for this, and it says the chairman of Dangote Industries Limited, DIL, Aliko Dangote, through his legal representative, has filed a formal corruption petition against the former managing director of the Midstream Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, at the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. This move follows the withdrawal of the same petition from the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, a strategic decision aimed at accelerating the prosecution process. So that, guys, is the bone of contention here. Now, but some netizens actually jumped on this particular one. I thought we should take a look at what Mega Mixer is saying. Mega Mixer says the decision by Aliko Dangote to elevate his grievances against Farouk Ahmed from a withdrawn Icpc petition to a formal Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, complaint suggests that the pursuit of accountability has moved from a tactical retreat to a strategic offensive. By involving the EFCC, Dangote is no longer merely alleging a private wrong, but is inviting a broader investigation into the financial conduct of the former head of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. This escalation follows the ICPC's refusal to bury the initial allegations of a $7 million payment for Swiss tuition fees, a move that reinforces the principle that corruption involving public officials cannot be treated as a private negotiable asset. Verified facts indicate that the Icpc had already initiated contact with Swiss authorities before the attempted withdrawal of the petition. The subsequent handover or parallel involvement of the Efcc must not result in the bureaucratic file shuffling that historically signals the death of high-profile probes in Nigeria. Are you catching the drift, guys? There's another part of this post. Yeah, so it continues by saying the central question remains unchanged. How does a career public servant justify the expenditure of millions of dollars on international education? This is a question of public policy and institutional integrity that transcends the individual motivations of the petitioner. The EFCC must now demonstrate that its intervention will add investigative muscle rather than provide a convenient procedural delay. The public interest demands that this case not be lost in a jurisdictional tug of war between agencies. Accountability in the petroleum sector is a foundational requirement for economic stability. The Commission should provide a clear timeline for its findings, ensuring that the transition of this case leads to a prosecution based on forensic evidence rather than a settlement brokered behind closed doors. So you understand what's going on, Ikechukwu? Yeah. So Dangote withdrew the case from the Icpc and asked the EFCC to take over. Now, this netizen actually, in particular, saying, I am smelling rat here. That he's doing this so that the EFCC will just probably bury the case or bury the hatchet, because the Icpc has already contacted the Swiss authority and all. But what do you make of this whole thing, though?
It's very possible. I mean, maybe one of the conditions for the withdrawal of the case was that the man Farouk actually resigns. Maybe there's been some sort of closed-door conversations that, okay, he's going to resign and maybe at some point tender an apology or something, but then you're definitely going to withdraw the case. But on the flip side, it could be that, he's looking at the fact that, yes, I mean, this is an economic issue, and EFCC is first when it comes to, dealing with corrupt officials in government. That's exactly where this particular thing, Ahmed Farouk's...
But it wasn't really an economic issue. It was a personal rift. Well, that's how it started out.
Well, you might say it was a personal rift, but the position it was occupying, really, it's endangering Nigeria's economy. And from what Dangote is actually doing, it's actually to help uplift Nigeria's economy. So if you look at it both ways, you understand that it's more of an economic issue for Dangote at this point. And of course, yes, you want to say it's a businessman, he wants to actually grow, and this is a man who's tried to actually stifle his business. So again, that's why it's actually looking at. I'm looking at from this other side now, outside the fact that, the reason why he could have done that is because there might be an agreement. But if there was no agreement, maybe he's looking at the EFCC as, since their own jurisdiction covers more on economic issues and then going after public, office holder, then of course, that's exactly why he's looking at, handing over to the EFCC. But again, what Mega Mix actually said might have some, light in it, but of course, with coming days, definitely go to find out, what the whole issue. But because EFCC has this case history of actually, messing up cases, that's exactly why he's actually sounding the way he's sounding. Because
yeah, but I want to come in here. So Mega Mixer is saying that, look, since the Icpc is insisting on continuation of this, investigation, because they are saying, look, we are not ceasing fire, we will conclude this investigation and come up with the results and all. Mega Mixer is now saying if both the Icpc and EFCC, both of them are investigating just one case, is there not going to be some clash at some point?
No, it's never going to happen, because I mean we've seen that the Nigerian police and the army can actually go on a joint operations. We've seen the FBI and the CIA go on joint operations. So it's all about understanding where their roles actually will overlap. Of course, to ensure that they get the same results, which is actually to find out if Dangote's allegation is actually true or not. I don't think it's going to come up, except one of them is trying to actually now, mess up the case, and that's exactly where the problem will come. But if they all have the same goal to actually get the facts on this particular case, I don't think there's going to be any issue.
All right, let's quickly take a look at the next hashtag, which is hashtag Malami. So you do know the former Attorney General has been cooling his feet in the correctional center, himself, his wife, and his son in Kuje. Yeah, but they've been granted bail, right? And someone or a publication put up a post and a video, right? But someone came to make a correction swiftly to say, look, this is misinformation. It is why this particular hashtag is trending. Now, let me take you back to X now so you see how hashtag Malami, former Attorney General of the Federation, is panning out. Shall we do it? Yeah. So Nigeria Stories is a publication that put it up, saying Malami, wife and son arrived with a private jet to historic welcome after meeting 1.5 billion naira bail conditions set by court. And they put up this video. Guys, take a look. So that's the video that Nigeria Stories put up as an attachment to the post it put up, saying that this was how they arrived to a rousing welcome. Now, take a look at what this netizen is saying, right? That's the next post we'll take a look at. Johnson W4, who just actually dropped this post, said, this video, he called it a photograph, was that of former AGF Malami, wife and son, and they were seen on a private jet. And this was taken in 2020 when they arrived Benin Kebbi for his son's wedding. So this is trending for a totally different reason. That was an old video, and that Malami has not come home to a rousing welcome in a private jet, like flaunting his riches after being under investigation and all. You know. Yeah,
I want to believe it's true, because I mean, you're actually coming out of the Efcc. This is not the time to actually come up with a show like this. If he were still very much, under the ruling party and is doing this, you might want to look at it that, okay, maybe the authorities will just turn a blind eye, but not now. Not a man who has actually been, behind, bars for a while and then come out with this sort of. I don't think it's actually reasonable for him to do that. So I want to actually agree that this is actually not, telling the real story of what's actually going on with Malami. And that's exactly one of those, dangers that social media gives you. And that's one of the roles we play here, right? As gatekeepers. So we bring stuff like this to your notice, right? So you know exactly how it is panning out. We'll quickly move on to the next hashtag, which is hashtag Dati Baba Ahmed, Peter Obi's former running mate. He seems to be making the headlines for a couple of days now. And today, he's actually trending for like 3 different reasons, right? So number one, he came out to deny that he actually did not announce, his intention to run for the presidency under the Labour Party, but that he was merely stating that he's still, in the Labour Party. But that's not what he said. We all heard what he said, and we all know what he said. But hey, netizens reacted to that. And then there's another reason why he's trending. He said Peter Obi has actually not defected from the Labour Party to the ADC, and that if he has, the Labour Party should actually present Peter Obi's resignation letter to him. Dati. Where is this coming from? You might want to ask. Then he also went on to say that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has been contesting, that he should chill for now. And Dele Momodu has a rebuttal for that one. So we go to X now. So it's a timeline. Walk with me, yeah? One after the other. Let's do it. Hashtag Dati Baba Ahmed. Shall we? Yeah. So Channels Television has this one. It says, I never declared to contest the presidency 2 days ago, even though there could be a possibility of that happening. I simply reiterated my membership for the Labour Party. Dati Baba Ahmed, former vice presidential candidate at Labour Party. Reactions now. So, Oman says Nigerian politics thrives on assumptions until a formal declaration is made. Everything else is just noise. Kelvin Paul in OGA says the politics that will be played in 2027, even we, the citizens, will fear. Then BD
BD says, okay. Agbalaka says, now that's semantics. Told the game is the game. Let's continue to see more reactions, shall we? So Sake says that, Baba, you don't owe anybody an explanation. And then he said, we are together, obediently, obedience.
Of course, unpopular opinion said he has the right to contest for the office of the president like every other person. But in my unsolicited opinion, the timing may be wrong for him. He will not even win one state, so why waste resources? Why not keep gathering it for the right moment, which will be in 2031? If that comes out in 2031, I'm very sure a lot of us will vote for him. Samuel Ozonna said, you have a hint. It's also a subtle declaration of intent, and there is nothing wrong in doing so.
All right, let's talk about this a little bit before we take a look at the next post that's going to talk about why that is also trending. Why do you think he's saying what he's saying right now?
Well, maybe because of the backlash,
yeah,
that he got from, people when he actually made his statement. A lot of persons got, a lot of the obedient got disappointed about, him saying that he wants to run under the Labour Party, that they felt actually because of the conduct of, Abure and other persons forced to be out of the party. So they felt he should have actually followed Obi, not to actually stick, around with the same Abure and co in the Labour Party. So that's exactly why that reaction actually came. But that's just more of it. It's expected for people who actually kind of attached to their political leader. That's exactly what I say.
He also said something that he's going to hold down the Labour Party for Peter Obi, that in case he doesn't get the presidential ticket, on the ADC platform, he can come back home. He said that. But let's take a look at the next post now, shall we? So, Nigeria Story says, Atiku started contesting when I was doing my NYSC. There is a need for a new generation of Nigerian leaders, Dati Baba Ahmed. But before this, there is another post by The Cable where Dati talked about Peter Obi actually not defecting. Can we pull that up before we take a look at this? Well, there seems to be some mix-up here, but The Cable has a story where Dati Baba Ahmed is saying that Peter Obi did not defect from the LP to the ADC, and that he's wanting for the Labour Party to show them, Peter Obi's resignation letter. Can we take this off the screen? When we are ready for this, we'll bring it back. Let's talk about that a little bit. Why do you think Dati is saying that?
Well, politicians, I think it was yesterday we talked about Dati. You made mention of, something about, is it possible that Dati could actually be, doing this to actually hold down the Labour Party for Peter Obi, because some of the netizens were actually inferring, that he might actually be doing that. But again, yet it's very possible. Politicians can actually go about their things. Peter Obi has learned a lot from 2023. He's grown more in when it comes to national politics. He understands how the game is played. I also recall that I also said something about ZLP at some point, that he's got something up his sleeve. He's not going to actually throw himself into, the ADC without a certain level of assurance.
That doesn't seem likely. The ZLP thing is...
Yeah, like what I'm saying is, he's not going to just throw himself into the ADC without any level of assurance. And looking at the LP and what the statement that is actually saying, it's very possible that Peter Obi might actually just be in alliance with the ADC and not be, a full member. But from what we saw in that Enugu, declaration, it seems like Peter Obi actually, declared to be a part of the ADC. But like he said, if the Labour Party can actually produce that, and it will be interesting for Nigerians to also get to see what the ADC will respond to. If the ADC will say, no, PWB is a card carrying member, I think that will, eventually just put all of this to bed. But until then, I think there's lots of speculation. People start thinking, because you cannot be a card carrying member of both parties. It's not possible.
It's even criminal.
Yeah.
So we're waiting to see how the ADC is going to respond to this particular one, because this is making massive traction online right now. I'm talking about the allegations that Baba Ahmed just made about his former running mate, or his former boss, if you want to call him that, Peter Obi, that Peter Obi hasn't really defected from the Labour Party, and that if actually he's defected, that he is daring the Labour Party to present or to show Peter Obi's resignation later. The Cable, as well as other publications, have got that particular story. Now, let's take a look at that one by Nigerian Stories that he also talked about Atiku Abubakar contesting for a number of times. He said, Atiku started contesting when I was doing my NYSC. There is a need for a new generation of Nigerian leaders. Now, Dele Momodu is responding. Let's see how he's doing that, shall we? Dele Momodu says, questions for Dati Ahmed. Does being old mean you are no longer good and visionary? Does age disqualify anyone from personal aspirations? Did Atiku Abubakar stop you and Peter Obi from contesting the last presidential election? What makes you better than Atiku Abubakar, who owns the American University just like you own Bayes University and was vice president of Nigeria? And then he goes on to say, can a man donate his personal dreams to you just because you are younger? If you admit that Atiku is more formidable and comes from the regions where the votes are more voluminous and has consistently built his structures since when you were still in school, why can't you appreciate and imbibe and support his doggedness? So what do you think is Dati's grouse against Abubakar? Is it age or incompetence? And then what do you make of Dele Momodu's response?
Dati's grouse obviously is the age. I mean, he didn't say anything about Atiku Abubakar's incompetence. He just said, you know, he's been contesting for a long time, which is fine. And which for me, it shouldn't be a ground to disqualify anyone. I mean, Abraham Lincoln actually, you know, continued to run till over 70 before he became president of America.
And he contested for 9 times.
Yeah, and of course, the fourth eventually won the elections, and he became the president of the United States. And one of the most, you know, celebrated United States president ever is still the same man we just talked about. But for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, yes, it should not disqualify him. But now let's look at Dele Momodu's response. I think all his response are just, you know, as simple as, you know, you can actually read through it, because he wasn't even just throwing Atiku Abubakar as the very best. He's just asking simple questions,
salient questions. Right. Yes.
Okay, is his age the problem? He's actually been consistent about what he's been doing. You own a university just the same way. It means that both of you value education. I mean, Nigeria, if a country has to move forward, you know, we need a leader who really understands the value of education. So basically, that's is him just selling Atiku Abubakar. You know, I want to believe that he's one of those very staunch Atiku Abubakar's followers within the ADC. So that's exactly what he's actually saying. I think at this point, right, maybe Dati can actually make any sort of statement, because he's still yet a member. He's still yet to be a member of the ADC, so he can actually say whatever it is he wants to say about Atiku Abubakar. But from where I stand, I don't think he's got a problem. He's just looking at, you know, the future of the country. Yeah, we need leaders who you know, a fresh start, basically.
I was going to ask, do you see him ever considering defecting from the Labour Party to the ADC?
It's a politician. It's very possible.
All right. On that note, we move on to the next hashtag now, which is hashtag Otedola Bridge. It's trending all over social media, especially X, because there was a ghastly motor accident today. There's a video and then there is a post. But I am so glad this favored family escaped death. Now, you should see the car crash. It is unbelievable that people came out of it, you know, unharmed. Let me just take you to X now so you see the post and then a video shortly afterward. And of course, there's one response I'd like for us to tackle head on. So the Cable says, family escapes death as tomato truck crashes on Otedola Bridge. A mini truck carrying tomatoes lost control due to brake failure along Otedola Bridge on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway on Thursday. The accident, which happened around noon, had no fatalities as a family in one of the vehicles narrowly escaped death. According to eyewitness, the truck veered off the road, slamming into ongoing vehicles on the bridge. Otedola Bridge remains one of Lagos's most notorious accident black spots, frequently plagued by brake failures, truck mishaps, and structural concerns. And that last paragraph is what another netizen is going to re-echo in a short while. But guys, take a look at the video of the incident. Right. Can you even believe that, Ikechukwu? And this is just even coming on the heels of what had happened with Anthony Joshua and his friends and how they lost their lives.
How did the car even get to that point?
That's the thing. That's like another car on another car, and then that's the tomato truck there.
So I'm thinking it's possible I don't know if the car leaped on it or it felt. It's horrible, really. It means that car must have somersaulted and landed on that other one. I mean, I've witnessed a car once somersaulted, on the Bissam Road a couple of years ago, and it's a very terrible experience. And that one too, a child was in that particular car, and nothing happened to the child. It was a very sad experience.
Miraculous.
Yes, the man, the child, and the wife, and the car just in our front. I don't know what happened. It was around 7 in the evening. The car veered off the road and then hit the bump and spinned,
Wow.
just landed in the ditch. And when they came out, the child was the first, people rushed to take out of the...
And the child was unharmed?
Very unharmed. The wife also came out. And then the man who I want to believe is the father also came out and just sat on the ground like, God, this is...
I'm trying to imagine how this family would have felt when they came out and discovered that nothing happened. I'm just very grateful for them. But one netizen jumped on the fact that the Otedola Bridge is the particular spot where stuff like this happens over and over and over again. And the question now is why? Can we take a look at that post now? It is #Otedola Bridge. I'm taking you back to X now. Let's do it. So Anthony says Otedola Bridge, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway has the most accident in Lagos State, and you just can't tell why. Now that's a clearer picture of of the incident. Ikechukwu, why do you think this particular spot is always recording stuff like this? It's either a tanker carrying fuel, explodes or stuff.
Yeah. Otedola Bridge is known for even fire incidents majorly. Of course, you group all of it under accidents, right? But this particular spot of that particular bridge, I really don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it has any
unexplainable,
any metaphysical power to it. But
I don't think that's.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. But then it's a problem. It's really a problem. I don't know if the authorities can actually look at a way to actually ensure that that part of the bridge is actually decongested, create another route where cars can actually, pass through either an overhead bridge or something to actually ensure that that place is actually smooth. Because one of the reasons that you have this sort of problem regularly is because of the influx of cars, within that particular spot. That's exactly where this accident is usually. If there were no multiple cars, you wouldn't be having this accident. So I think they should really look into it and find a way to sit with architects to actually design, a road pattern for that will ensure that particular spot, becomes free. That's the only way to actually solve, that sort of this kind of problem.
Yeah, and like Anthony said, thank God that no life was lost. Actually join Anthony in thanking God for that. Let's quickly move on to GNI building now. It is a story that we've been following, and I would love for us to actually bring you the update. The great Nigeria Insurance building on the island. You know how it went up in flames and how rescue mission has been ongoing for days, and how we brought to your attention the Omatu brothers, 3 of them, and how they kept calling, help, rescue. It's on a very sad note that I come to tell you that they passed on, really. And you have scores of people who have died in that building. Reverend Father Ejike jumped on this to, share his condolences with the family, because the elder brother to this late Omatu brothers is actually a Reverend Father that is based outside the country. But first, the People's Gazette dropped a bombshell really, regarding this particular matter. Now, I want to take you to X now, so you see what the People's Gazette is saying about this whole thing and the allegations they're making against the firefighters. Let's do it. We are supposed to be talking about the GNI building and not the KPMG. Please, the GNI building, can you take us to where the People Gazette put up an allegation that the marketers, traders are making against firefighters? I understand that we are having technicalities and we can't put up that particular post. And it's not something out. Can we take this off? Okay, people, you have to pardon me. Technicalities. I don't know what's going on right now, and it's very upsetting. But this thing that the People Gazette is reporting regarding the GNI building is something I wouldn't want to say like it's coming from me. So until we have that particular one, I won't be able to let you know. I think I'm going to wrap up the show now because of this whole mix-up. Is thanks to everyone who contributed to making the show a success. But the bigger thanks goes to you guys for watching. Until we come your way again, have a good day. Bye.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Voice of the people. You can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Icpc Dokobo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikena Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka, Amayanabo the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
Extraordinary. Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight On Voice of the People Television, let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is not just a name, she is a face. Born on June 13, 1954 in Ogwashiuku, Delta State, Nigeria, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala was raised in a family deeply rooted in education and public service. Her father, Professor Chukwuka Okonjo, was the obi and a respected academic. Her mother, Kamene Okonjo, was a professor and a medical doctor. Ngozi took her academic journey from Nigeria to United States, where she earned a bachelor degree in economics from Harvard University in 1977. Driven by a passion for development economics, she pursued a PhD in regional economics and development at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which she completed in 1981. Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala dedicated 25 years to the World Bank, rising to the position of Managing Director, the second highest role in the institution.
There's an Africa that you don't hear about very much. And sometimes I'm puzzled, and I ask myself why. This is the Africa that is changing, that Chris alluded to. This is the Africa of opportunity. This is the Africa where people want to take charge of their own futures and their own destinies.
She was an instrument in spearheading initiatives that addressed poverty and promoted economic growth in developing countries, particularly in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Answering the call to serve her homeland, Ngozi became Nigeria's finance minister twice, from 2003 to 2006, and again from 2011 to 2015, becoming the first woman to hold this position. She also briefly served as Nigerian foreign minister in 2006. During her tenure, she implemented critical reforms to combat corruption and stabilize the economy. Notably, she led negotiations that resulted in the cancellation of $30 billion of Nigeria's external debt, a monumental achievement that improved the nation's financial standing. Beyond Nigeria, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has been a formidable force on the global stage. She chaired the board of Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, from 2016 to 2020, playing a pivotal role in improving access to immunization in low-income countries. In March 2021, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala made history by becoming the first woman and the first African to serve as Director General of the World Trade Organization. In 2022, Dr. Ngozi joined the Group of 30 known as G30, an independent body of distinguished policy makers from around the world. In November 2024, she was reappointed to serve a second term as Director General of the World Trade Organization. Dr. Ngozi's contributions have earned her numerous accolades. She holds honorary degrees from prestigious institutions and has received national honors. She is listed as one of the 50 greatest world leaders, the top 100 most influential people in the world, the top 100 thinkers, the top 3 powerful women in Africa, and many more. Despite the global responsibilities, Ngozi remained deeply connected to her family. She is married to Dr. Iyemba Iweala, a neurosurgeon, and together they have 4 children, including Uzodimma Iweala, an acclaimed author. Her life story serves as an inspiration, demonstrating that integrity, perseverance, and vision can drive transformation. Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's journey reflects profound impact one individual can have on the world. Her legacy continues to inspire new generations of leaders.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest